Yeah, so today's topic, as I said before, will be about creating products, all of the fields you can fill out, what do they mean, what are they for, and how to set up your ideal search engine optimization things, so everything that is helping this product page to be ranked better on Google. So this individual page, not your shop in general, right? Let's skip this here. Okay, great. Here, once we do a new webinar, a new date will be announced in the back office of your office, right at the top here. So I think next month is already the next one. So maybe a specific topic you're looking forward to will be covered here. But let's jump right into products. I will go to my demo shop here, go to products, product overview. And then here's the list of all the pre-created products you found in your shop initially when you started creating your shop. Usually, of course, those will be all gone. So let me just highlight them and delete all of them. Yes, I will actually want to delete them because we don't want to work in those, pre-created products. We want to create a new one. So I will say create a new product. And the first thing that I'm being asked here is product name. So how to create a good product name so that it's valuable information for your customers and also for Google, because the product name is a very important thing that Google reads as the first thing. It's a headline one, so one of the headlines of this individual page. So it's a very important signal to Google, what is the general topic of this page. So it's your product name, of course. But how is a product name actually created in a good and positive way so that everybody, benefits from reading it? So always the first thing I would mention here would be the manufacturer or the brand, manufacturer or brand. So let's say you are selling a pair of Adidas running shoes, right? You would mention Adidas as the first thing here. I'll do this down here. I don't even know how to write Adidas. I think there's a double D somewhere, I think here. So manufacturer and brand. Then the next thing we want to mention here is the model. So this would be, I don't know, cross country, ultra, whatever, right? That's the actual name of this specific model of shoes. And then I would mention like one or two attributes of this product, like the color or what is it for? Is it something to use in the kitchen or in the living room or wherever else? So in this case here, it would be, running shoes. Because it's a pair of running shoes, just as an example, yeah? And then I would just put it here as well, running shoes. And then, of course, this would actually be our product title and not this formula here. So good product title would be, oh, no, I messed it up. Adidas cross-country running shoes, right? And then the cross-country part would be the model name. You could put this like this. So it's more clear what this actually is, right? So this would be one example of a product name. Let's say we are selling a base cap, an Adidas baseball cap from, a certain team. So it would be the Adidas Yankees baseball cap, maybe in red, So these would be information I would also put in the product name just to give, all the most important stuff right away in the product name. Maybe you're selling wine, then I would mention it's 0.7 liters or something, right? So one or two attributes, manufacturer, if the manufacturer is actually a brand that's important to mention, and then the model name and what the product actually is, right? So these would be the things I would mention in the product name. Then for description, now if we have a product that's very self-explanatory, so if, everybody knows what a base cap is, I don't have to explain it. But if it's, a part of a machine or something that's a little bit more complicated, I would always start with an introductory text explaining what this product actually is. If it's a product that is very self-explanatory, like in this case, I would probably start with a small headline, like the season 2021 official Yankees base cap. Then I would highlight this part of the text because this is going to be a headline for me. So I would go headline 2, and I would make it a headline 2 because this is already a headline 1. So I choose headline 2 for this one. And then I just have a headline here. And then the newest, base cap from, I would basically repeat the above, put a little bit more filler words in there, make it a full sentence, like maybe, 30 to 50 words here, like as a small introduction. And then I want to mention the technical details of my product. Technical details of a base cap, you might say, well, what could this be? But in this case, it would be, it's unisex. So it's for men and women and anything in between. It's maybe color is, what did we say? It's red. You could mention the specific kind of color. It's one size fits all model, and it's canvas or cotton, and the straps are Velcro or plastic or whatever, plastic straps. Like this. So I would just make a list basically, and since it is a list, I would then highlight the list and then go here and make it a bullet points list. So everybody's pretty clear on what this is. This is just a list of the features of things your product has, things that are worthy to mention in our product description. And then we go to the next one. So the next part, which would be another headline 2, or if you want to, you could make it a headline 3 and say, this season, in this case, is going to be great, whatever, for baseball, highlight it once again, maybe make a headline 3 out of it, which is fine. And then, I'd say around 200 plus words at least of description of what exactly this product is, what people might be looking for. So if you're selling white wine, for example, you could mention a few dishes that this goes with. It's good for chicken or for fish dishes, or it's great for it's a very light wine for in the summer in the evening to drink it during a picnic or during a barbecue event or whatever else you want to mention here. So it should be a couple of words because it's very important to describe your product fully and with a lot of words, because the more words you use, the more keywords you can put in there, because you never know exactly what people will be looking for when they're looking for your products. They might use a couple of words that you never expected them to use. So the more words you actually put here, the higher is the chance they actually hit those words, and your product will be shown very prominently on Google or wherever else. So like 200 plus words, so that we in total have round about 300 words here, which would be the ideal case. If you do not, have ideas of how to come up with a 200 words description, always go back to the list you make. This is why this list is very helpful. You can start with, re-mentioning everything within your list, but just in a full sentence. This year's model comes in the beautiful dark red, which suits all colors very well, which goes great with the T-shirt that we offer as a cross-selling product or whatever. It's very variable in the size because it has this adjustable strap that you can put from the smallest head to the biggest head. It will always fit perfectly. Wind will not blow it away from you, or whatever you want to say here. just, use a lot of words, filler words, but also mention a couple of keywords again. And this list you made initially is a very good, starting place to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in this case, sentences. Then we already maybe have, 80, 90 words. And then that's already great, right? Then we already have probably a more complete and more interesting product description than most of our competitors. If we actually manage to, put in more words than that, that's even better than just 100 or 200 words, obviously. Okay, somebody just everybody else has audio, I guess, because somebody did not seem to have audio. I'm just reading it right now. Maybe somebody can just type yes, since you obviously hear me. Yeah, great. Thank you very much. So yeah. Oh, it's fixed? Okay, cool. Yeah, sometimes you just have to reconnect your audio. Okay, sorry for just reading it right now. Okay, so once we're up to this, we have the product description done. Very important, this should be, an H2. An H2, and this probably is an H3, so that we follow a structure like we would be writing an article, in a newspaper. So we have an H1, which is the most important headline, then followed by an H2, then an H3, and in between, of course, we have text, right? Then we have this more options here, which tells you that you can put in keywords for the search here. I would not recommend writing anything here, since this is a very, very specific entry here. This entry is exclusively used as so-called meta keywords. Meta keywords are a function that Google used I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or something, since they discontinued using them. It was basically a list of keywords you could enter to tell Google what the keywords of this page are. But a lot of people, misused them, and then Google decided not to read those keywords anymore, and said, we will ignore them. However, we still use those meta keywords for the internal search of the shop. All of your shops have a search field, and you can run a search there. And the search field will actually look for, product name, manufacturer. So everything that is actually visibly written in the product will be searched for. And this would be a place where you could enter a couple of words that you still want to include in your search parameters without actually mentioning them in the text. So it's a complicated construct, to be honest. So maybe back to the one example I had about white wine. So if you're selling white wine, which goes good with fish, which is, the general saying about white wine, which is not true for every white wine, of course, but some do, go good with fish. But you don't want to mention it in your text, actually, because you don't expect a lot of people to search for fish when they actually search for white wine, right? And you don't want to mention it in every bottle. You could put fish here. Right? You could put something like, I don't know, baseball here, because maybe you don't mention it here because it's a base cap, and you don't want to say baseball season because you just want to say season. The next season will be great instead of the next baseball season would be great, because that would be just very obvious. But somebody might go into your search field in your shop and enter baseball cap. But it's already in the title, so we find it anyway. You already see why it's not really important to put anything here. So this is only for words that you don't want to put in your visible text, which will still be visible in your code, and therefore can be searched for with the search function in your shop. But also, other people can look at the code of your page. So you shouldn't use it to cheat. So don't, sell a Samsung phone, for example, a Galaxy phone, and then put iPhone here, because it wouldn't make sense, right? And it wouldn't actually work, to be honest. So why would somebody, who's looking for an iPhone buy something completely different, just because it comes up via the search? So I wouldn't use this field and there are very, very few very specific cases where it makes sense. Okay, then price, which is pretty obvious here, right? 20 euros. And then, of course, you can set the VAT settings here from, 0, standard, or the reduced one. And also here you have a little bit more options. And this is primarily like reference unit here, I actually have to think what this is. Is this the crossed out price? Yeah, right. Because my Dutch reading skills are not so good, and I just have to go from memory what this is. But that's the crossed out price, the before price, right? And this is the reference unit. Reference unit, original price. Thank you. Yeah. Reference unit is when you have butter, right? And you want to sell a piece of butter, which is like 500 grams. In some countries, in Germany, it's by law. I don't know how the laws are in the Netherlands, but we by law have to mention the price of 100 grams in this case, or the price of 1 kilo in this case, right? So I would have to go here and say, this is the 1 kilogram price, and we have 0.5 kilogram in the product, or sorry, I need to put comma, I think. No, I need to use full values. So let me go by grams in this case. So this would be like 1,000 grams, and then there's like 500 in the product, or whatever. So this is to make it easier for consumers to compare prices. So if you have a bottle of wine, which is 0.5 liters, and the other one is 0.7 liters, and the 0.5 liter one costs, let's say, 20 euros, and the 0.7 costs 22 euros, some people cannot, determine which one is more expensive per 100 liter. So in order to help these people, you have to mention the reference price. So I don't know if it's a law in the Netherlands, in the supermarkets, if you pick up butter or whatever else, if you always have to mention the 100 gram or the 1 kilo price, but in Germany it's law. In some other countries it's law. So we have those fields here to use them. Then categories. So assign something to a category is pretty obvious. Assign it to one of the categories you created before. And then this is delivery time. So how many days does it take to deliver this product? It's fine. You could put 2 to 3 here, which totally works. You could go like circa. I don't know if you use that abbreviation in Dutch. Circa 2. So you could put words and numbers here, but usually I would go with the ideal value here, just to make it more interesting for your customers. And then you have an extra page where you can explain how your delivery system actually works. So I think if you, let's say, all orders that come in before noon will still be shipped on the same day, because like in 4 in the afternoon, all your parcels are being picked up. And then usually it only takes 2 days from somebody who ordered in the morning to receive his parcel. Then I would put 2 days here, and then explain on my delivery explanation page, more or less, that if you order before like 10 or 12 in the morning, parcels will still be shipped on the same day, otherwise the next day. So everybody can make the calculation and say, oh, in my case, it's going to be 3 days because I ordered too late at that specific day, right? Don't go 1 day higher just to make sure it's not wrong. Rather go with the fastest route here. But if you take 10 days for delivery, don't put 2 here, right? Somebody running usually 24 hours sounds better than 1 day, but we don't have this option because most of you won't have the ability to send within 24 hours, I guess, right? But yeah, here you can only put full days. And yes, we already got some feedback that some people are asking to change this for like working days, hours, whatever. We'll take this into consideration, right? But yeah, so here you can put the delivery time, and here this is the delivery weight for one piece. With, where you can also choose some options here. This is usually not too important. I mean, sometimes you won't even know the delivery weight because you don't know how many products somebody orders. And if you put them all in one box, how much is the exact delivery weight of this one single product? I don't think it makes much sense. I would rather put the weight of the product, if it's important for whatever reason, here in my list, right? And mention it here. So of course, if I send away some very heavy things, that might make sense to mention it here. The only other reason you could use this is because you are using a delivery method that goes by weight, but that's a method that, from my personal experience, is very much outdated nowadays. Usually it's a fixed price and then free of delivery charges once you reach, I don't know, 50 euros, 100 euros or something like that. So don't go, the more you order, the more expensive it's going to be, because that usually doesn't make sense, right? So that's what this is for. I can delete this here, I guess. Okay. So then, of course, depending on what shop model you have, there are different price ranges of the online shop software, like STRATO selling it in the Netherlands and in Germany and everywhere else as well. And some of you might have this option to exclude certain delivery methods. So you could actually say, well, some products I will not ship, with express delivery because I will not be able to send them very fast or whatever else, right? So you could exclude certain things. Here you can put in measurements in millimeters, and also that doesn't make much sense. Also, it doesn't do much. It's basically only there because you can export all your product information as a CSV file. So you could open it in Excel or any other calculation program, and then you might make use of these measurements, but usually you don't need these fields, right? So manufacturer and manufacturer number here, which is pretty easy. So if it's a known manufacturer, put it here. And if you order it from that manufacturer directly, you can put the manufacturer number here. To reorder, to restock. This is the product number, which will automatically be generated one after the other, but you can manually change it. Then we have the product code here, or EAN number, ISBN number for books or whatever other. There's a system called ASIN for Amazon products. So you can put those numbers here. They are mandatory if you want to sell on Amazon, eBay, and so on. So you will not be able to sell a product on Amazon without an EAN or ISBN number or ASIN number. But if you only sell from within your shop, it's not so important. It's just that certain brands, certain products have this specific number to identify this product globally. So in that case, it makes sense to put it here. And this is how many you have in stock. So if you want to track your actual stock levels within your shop, you can put your Vorrat, so your stock here, and your minimum stock level. And this will trigger an email notification once you are below your minimal stock level, which will tell you, you should maybe reorder this product. Then we have this field, which is quite interesting, which is essential functions. And this is also something you might not need. We introduced this field because, once again, in some countries, it's necessary. And I don't know, I don't know the Dutch laws. I know the German laws regarding e-commerce pretty well. I don't know the Dutch ones. But in Germany, it's once again, it's mandatory to mention all the essential functions of a product in the last step of the checkout process. So let me write something here like one baseball cap and red. Okay. just remember that I entered this here. Then we have data sheet. So if there's any data sheet, like you want to have a table, what sizes there are, or washing instructions, or technical data, or whatever else, you can upload a PDF here, for example, maximum size up to 100 megabytes. Just upload it and done. Energy label, same. So if you have product with the energy label, you can just upload it here and then select the correct energy label and so on. And then this is product type. We will look at this a little bit later. And then we have our search engine entries here. And here we have page title and we have meta description. Let me save the product now in the way it is. Okay. And now you see that the page title already changed because it now says Adidas Yankees baseball cap red webinar shop. Because if you do not enter a page title, Google still needs one, because this is the name of the actual link that will show up on Google where people click on, right? So if I search, let me just do a search here, base cap red. I just search it on Google. It's German Google. So this blue thingy here is used for all being German, but you get the idea. This is the page title, right? So this is where people click on. So this is why we need it, and you see it in the preview here also. And yeah, and this is of course already a pretty nice page title. We automatically created from the product name and the shop name. So if you want to push your brand and push the name of the shop actually to your customers, you could totally leave the shop name here. If you want to add a few more keywords here, you could always go and remove the shop title. Just go to the product name, for example, here. Go to the product name, copy the product name, and then go here. And then add some more keywords if you think it's a good idea, right? Here you can see that we used 48 of 70 letters, including spaces. It says you can use up to 70, which is not really correct because it's measured in pixels. And yeah, if you have a lot of I's and L's, they don't use up a lot of space. You could maybe reach 70, but I recommend going max 60 to 64. In most languages, you have W's and B's and bigger letters in there. So 60 to 64 is a better number than 70, to be honest. And this is also what Google says you should use, 60 to 64. But 70 is technically possible here, so we mentioned 70. Then the meta description is when we go to the Google search results here, you see here's the URL, and this is the page title, and then we have this part here, this smaller black or grayish printed part, and this is the meta description, or should be the meta description. So you could, fast shipping and whatever else you think is worth mentioning below your product. Usually this is not really important for your ranking, but it can improve how many people actually click on your search entry when they see it. So imagine, I search for something on Google, then, on the first page, 6 or 8 entries come up. Usually people just click on the first one. That's the bad thing. But if not the first one, but the second or the third one mentions free shipping in the Netherlands, maybe here, or fast shipping, or some other valuable information, I might click on the third entry more likely than on the first entry, because the meta description is better. The small part of info just fits better what I was searching for. And then actually people click more often. Also, you can see it here that I search for, base cap red. So when there's the word red or cap or base cap in this description, Google will actually make it bold printed and highlight it so that I see most of the words I've been looking for are included in this short description. So it should be like fast shipping, free shipping, but it should also be, you know, base cap, red, and Yankee. So once again, my product name, because then it gives me double security when I search for something, that it's in the page title and it's also in the meta description. So I feel very comfortable clicking on this link, because the chance that this is exactly the page or the product I have been looking for is much higher than if there would be just a weird description here. If you do not enter a meta description manually here, Google will just take any text it finds on your page and, you know, take snippets of it and place it here. I don't know if you see a lot of things here ending in ... That's either because the text was too long or because they didn't put a dedicated text here, and Google just took this just looks like Google just took something from the page and put it here, because Zalando didn't, you know, bother to have a meta description because they rank so awesome anyway. But yeah. So this should be here. Once again, we have here now 49 of 320 letters, which once again, I would not go to 320. I would go max 140. I don't know how this translates. Tekkens? Is that Tekken? Tekken? So I don't know. But I would go max 140. Because after 140, Google will most likely go ... right? So we could put more here, but nobody will see it, because Google says, oh, well, this is the space you have, like so and so many pixels. It's technically possible to have a longer meta description once again, but Google won't show it. So why bother and putting more words here and, you know, making your life harder than it needs to be, when nobody will ever see it and Google will basically ignore it. Everything behind, you know, 140, 144 letters is just too much to show. So don't do it. And sometimes it can end in this weird ... at a really bad, you know, place in the description. So I wouldn't use the maximum, the technically maximum of 320. I would use, you know, the 140, because that's actually how much Google will show. Yeah, and once you're happy with that, once again, you can save it, right? And then just add an image here, like a red baseball cap, like this. You can add multiple images. You should add multiple images. Like I would always recommend adding 3 to 5 images. And then ideally, the first image should always be like this. So it's just the product, nothing else, on a pure white background, because this just shows this is exactly what you will buy, right? This is exactly what you will get. This is what we will deliver to you. And to make sure everybody understands that, if I have a picture like this or if I don't have one, there's one more thing I would put in the product description as the last part. And that's, you know, content of delivery. So what is actually part of the delivery? In this case, it would be 1 baseball cap. Yeah. Sometimes it makes sense, because if you're selling something where you might need to buy an extra cable, where you might need to buy batteries, where you might, you know, show something in the context with multiple products, but you only send out one single product and then they can buy the other ones. It's always good to mention what's the actually content of delivery. There's probably a better word for this in Netherlands. In German, it's Lieferumfang. So what is, you know, what is actually contained in whatever I buy here. If it's a pair of shoes, you don't have to put, you know, a left and a right shoe, because that's pretty obvious. Just put 1 pair of shoes. You know, but sometimes there are things included, and sometimes not. So always to make sure people know exactly what they're buying, so they won't return it to you. Creating a lot of work for you, you know, by them sending it back and saying, oh, this is not what I thought I would be getting, right? So if your first image here would be, I don't know, a person wearing this baseball cap and also wearing a t-shirt, somebody might send it back and saying, I thought I also get the shirt. So, and it's pretty clear if your first image is only the cap And if you have, this small sentence like, oh, you will get 1 baseball cap if you order this. So this is just to make sure everybody's on the same page when ordering this product, and you avoid a lot of unnecessary returns that we don't want, of course, because they cost us money. So yeah, and then the second picture, of course, could be somebody wearing it. The third, could be 10 people wearing it in a stadium or whatever else. So close-ups, product in use, product decorated. These all could be options. How to show your product in the following pictures, but the first picture should always be just the product on a white background. And then if the product has a function, I always say if it has a button, if I can press it on, I can activate it, whatever that means. It's great if you also have video. Create a small video. You can do it with your mobile phone. It's already pretty good quality nowadays, and then just upload it on a YouTube channel. And then add it here as a video URL. And then you also have a video of the product in use. Somebody's asking how to add the alt description for the image. All the images will have the same alt description, which is the product name automatically. So you only have to add alt descriptions manually in categories when you add, mood images or images that you picked yourself. And where we don't know what's going to be on the image, but what is going to be on the image of a product, probably the product. So we use the product name as the alt description automatically, because you would have to, 5-6 images, and then putting alt description manually to all the images. We don't want to leave it open. So we just decided to use the product name for alt description. So you don't have to put anything there. Plus there's no option now to put anything there. It will be the product name automatically. For those of you who don't know what the alt description is, it's actually if the picture for some reason will not load, Google will instead show this text. So in this case, it would be the product name. And also if vision impaired people are visiting your shop, blind people or people with severe vision disabilities, and they cannot see the picture, and they are using a screen reading software, which will actually just read the text on the website to them. In the case of the images, it will read the alt description to them so that they know what is on the picture. And once again, for a product, it's pretty pointless because it's going to be the product name, because the product is going to be on the picture. And this is why I also say, put the manufacturer, put the product model name, and put 1 or 2 very important attributes in the product name. So this automatically creates a great alt description. This is why it's important to have a nice product name, right? Because, somebody doesn't want to read as the 20th word that this cap is actually red, because it's the most important information. It's a base cap and it's red, right? And then maybe the team, if there's a logo on it or something. Same for a t-shirt or clothing or whatever else. So this is why I would always create, the product name like this, as an example, just as a blueprint, more or less. Okay, cool. Then I want to quickly, really quickly, in the last remaining minutes, show you how to create a variation of this now. Now, let's say it's not one size fits all, but it comes in 3 sizes, SML, just to have a simple example. So we go to variations, and then we have an assistant here, and then it tells you to select the product type. And when we have no product type created before, we have to go with new one. And then we can put a name, and there's an example here saying t-shirt, which is not a good example. You said I created some before, but let's go with, I don't know, caps. And in this case, it's probably fine. Or you could also go more general and say clothing. And you see that I already created a product type here. Oh no, it's showing me some example here, sorry. Like color and then blue or red. So it says, okay, what attributes does your product have? And we want to go size. And I would be more specific here and said head size or something, right? Because it's not shoe size, it's not clothing size. Or if in this case it's SML, we could go with US size, because that's the US system, just putting things in SML, XL, and so on. So you could go with US size in this case, and then say S, M, L. That's it. I could create another attribute like color if I can choose the color. I'll not do this here now, but US size, SML, and then, go. And then it says, well, I would do this now, create this product 3 times with the same product number, and then 0001, 002, 003, which I could once again manually change, but this comes from, the one we have in the original product. And this would be the variations created. And I said, yeah, I like that. And then done, right? So I can go to my product now. Oops. I can go to my product now. I should be, ooh, didn't do it. Why not? Okay, US. Maybe I didn't hit save when I should have, because I was confused by a word I'm not used to see. So excuse me for that. So next. That's next, right? Always the blue one is next. Oh, this says something is wrong. The wording, some wording is not right. Let me, okay, clothing. I don't know why it doesn't do it now. I'm so sorry. US size S, M, L, next. Oh, for whatever reason, it doesn't do it. Okay, let me, okay. Let me do it like this. So I could also just go to product types, go into my product type. In this case, it's clothing. Then create the attribute like US size. And then go text with value selection, right? And then go yes. So now I have this attribute. Now I can click on the attribute, and then it says, what values do you have? And here I should totally be able to use SML. I don't think I have to put small, medium, large. Okay. So it's saved now, right? Clothing, US size with 3 values. Okay, great. So back to my product, back to variations, start assistant. Say, yeah, I want to use US size. Okay, now it works. Okay. For whatever reason, it didn't like to do it via the assistants when I didn't pre-create the product type before, and I cannot read the error message. I'm so sorry, but yeah. But this is now how it's going to be created. And if we now have a look at our product, you can already see this looks like a really nice product detail page, right? We have this picture with the zoom function to look at all the details. We have a nice name, pricing. I can select the size. I put it into my basket. And then we have a headline here. We have the text here. We have a headline 3. We have more words. We have extra informations like US size M. So I'm convinced I'm going to buy it now. Now let's go to the basket. Now let's say, yeah, I'm going to buy it. And then I'm a guest. And then this will be test 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Test. Let me put. I hope the postcode works in Netherlands. I don't know that. Test at epages.de. Yes. Go next. Okay. So how many do you have in the Netherlands? Like 6? Oh, we have 4. Oh, thank you very much. It's with letters, right? It's similar to Great Britain. Great. So yeah, whatever, payment method, delivery method, and so on. And now, what I wanted to show you here is now it says the product with a link. It says US size M, one piece, 20 euros. And it says here, 1 baseball cap in red. And hopefully you remember that I put this here. Essential functions. And this is the only place where this information will show up. And this is only because, certain countries by law say in the last step of the basket, before money will flow, right? Before somebody says, buy now, you have to mention all the essential functions of a product, all the essential features. And since we as a software development company do not know what are the essential features of a table in comparison to the essential features of a poster, right? We said, well, how are we going to do this? So we just created this free field. And if you feel like, mentioning the product, mentioning the size, mentioning it's 1 piece, mentioning a lot of things already in the product name, and being in 1 piece is not enough, then you could use this field to enter more information. But once again, usually you don't need to fill this out. Everything will be already in your product name. If you follow my very simple guidelines, then you should always be fine with mentioning brand, the product name, what it is, and 1 or 2 attributes, right? This should be good enough for basically everyone. And so that you have something as, let's call it a blueprint. I will copy this link now, and this product will still exist in weeks from now. So I will not touch this, and put it in the chat here, so that you have the URL, and you can go here, right, and just copy this system more or less, or maybe you written down some notes how to do it. But you will always see this here, H2, 30 to 50 words, list, H3, 200 words, content of delivery, and done. And if you do this to all of your products, have good pictures, I think you will rank better with your products and have just in general nicer and better described products, less returns, because you have the content of delivery, you have clear images, you have all the technical data listed, very easy and fast to read. That's the point of making these bullet points list, and hopefully more sales. Yeah. And that's already what I had prepared for you today. So maybe you learned a little bit. Maybe you got some ideas on how to improve on your product descriptions, on your products in general. And I hope you enjoyed it. There will be a little quick survey at the end of this, where you could, ask for specific topics that we can discuss next month. For the moment, we will do 1 webinar per month. If they prove to be very successful, which in comparison to the German ones I'm doing, we have like 10 to 20 people attending currently in the Netherlands, and I have like 80 to 90 people attending in Germany. So, but it's still worth it for me to do it, because I think the Netherlands are a very important market for us and for STRATO. And as long as you are fine with me, stumbling through your Dutch shop using English and thinking in German and still learn something, I think we can continue doing this. So thank you very much for attending today. Hope you have a nice rest of your day, and see you next month, maybe.